Hello, everyone. This is Priya Patra, the Vice President Outreach of the PMI Mumbai chapter, and I am the host of this discussion today. And I have a very, very special guest today with me, our star speaker of our upcoming PMI Mumbai chapter conference, Digs the Future. Now, who is this star speaker? He is retired in the apex grade of Government of India from the Indian Railways, Service of Mechanical Engineering as General Manager, Integral Coach Factory, after serving 38 years. Well, that's long. And he served as a railway advisory in the Embassy of India, Berlin, a fellow Institute of Mechanical Engineers, London, Hindustan University, Chennai, and has they have conferred him with honorary degree of Doctor of Science. And we were just speaking about it before we got started. He led the Train 18, the Bharat project, the first ever indigenous semi high speed train of India, right from concept to delivery. So meet Dr. Sudhanshu Mani, the father of Bharat trains, visionary behind the semi-high-speed train revolution, author of the book My Train 18 Story. So Dr. Mani, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
So thank you, Dr. Mani, for accepting our invite and willing to talk to our community of project managers, our at our Mumbai chapter PM Conclave. That is that annual conference that we will be hosting on December 2nd, and also agreeing to give us a sneak peek into what we can expect in your session. Digs in Indian Railways, the Vande Bharat Express. And this is for the audience. As you all know, the theme of the conference is DIGS, which is disruption, inclusivity, generate, and sustain. So D for disruption. Dr. Mani, I was going through one of your TEDx talk. I think it was TEDx Hyderabad. And you said you had a dream and you dreamt as a young boy and you thought why the railways trains looked the same for the last 60 to 70 years. So Dr. Mani, we know that you have transformed, you have lived your dream and you have transformed the train industry, the railways, right? You disrupted the railways for sure. So how are the factors of evolution and innovation redefined in the railway industry with the introduction of Vande Bharat?
So, first of all, let me clarify this bit about the dream. Yes, as a child, I did have this angst that in spite of Indian Railways being a large network with a great pool of engineers, why is it that we did not have a train which was aesthetically superior, technologically superior, speedier, modern? And so this was an angst and also a dream. But let me clarify that we, after not having lived through a dream all our lives, we tell youngsters, go and live your dream. I tell them that, no, look after your family, your bread and butter, your sustenance first. But don't let your dream die. Let it linger. Let it not be extinguished. Someday an opportunity will come your way, most likely for you to realize it. And then is the time to remember the words of the people's president, APJ Abdul Kalam. So he said, dream is not the thing that you see in sleep. Dream is that thing that does not let you sleep. So once you get that opportunity, that's the time to work strongly to realize your dream, given the right atmosphere, the right environment, right opportunity, right team. And if you don't do that at that stage, then it was perhaps never a dream. It was just a pipe dream. So clarifying that bit about the dream, yes, there was an angst, there was a dream, but it was not as if I was waiting all my life to realize that dream. It's just that I got posted as the general manager of Integral Coach Factory, the largest factory of Indian Railways, and arguably in terms of numbers, not quality and variety, one of the largest in the world. And heading that factory was time for me to make use of the opportunity and the platform to do something about it. And I was fortunate to be bequeathed a great team of engineers and staff who were, raring to go with ennui written on their face, boredom of doing more of the same. They had the chutzpah to do something new, and my job was to channelize that energy. So, having confused you now, let me come back to your question. I only spoke about the dream. Your question was?
My question was that how has Vande Bharat trains, kind
Okay.
of disrupted the railway industries? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you see, so the train is just a train. It's not Chandrayaan or Mangalyaan. It's just that it looks different. It can cut down travel time. It has better amenities. It has taken the country's imagination right now. Also because of how it looks and it is modern, and that it is a product made in India, designed in India, not just manufactured in India. So people love it. And the government realized it after the first train, second train was made. And when I say government, it's right at the top, the prime minister. He realized that this was not just a train, but something that represents the aspirational and resurgent India. So, although there was a negativity for 3 years, nothing was made. But finally, it is back on rails. And I believe as many as 35 plus trains are already there. I think nearing 40. So if you look at a station where 2, 3 Vande Bharats are there at a time, you will see the transformation with your eye naked. It's right there where the very look of the train has changed. And although all trains are not patronized well, some of them are really patronized well. Like Kerala, 2 of them run and they run full. So the way people travel is getting transformed. People are leaving at this point air travel to come to trains. That's another transformation. And this, in spite of the train not running anywhere near its potential because tracks have not been upgraded. That's a fact. Once the tracks are upgraded
Mhm.
and travel time is cut down much more than it has been done so far, the train is there, the track is not there. So, if more focus is given to the tracks and the tracks are upgraded, you can imagine more people shifting from air travel to trains. And the plan is for 500, 600 trains within 3, 4 years. So the every station will have a Vande Bharat or the other all the time. So that's a transformation.
Excellent. So you said don't let your dream die, right? And you definitely didn't let your dream die. So now that Vande Bharat is already there, right? What keeps you awake, Dr. Mani, nowadays at night? Now your dream is fulfilled, right?
Yeah. So no, I sleep very well. First of all, yeah, there was a time when the train was getting manufactured. There were some sleepless nights, and such a great man as Abdul Kalam himself has said that it's something that should not let you sleep. So, which was okay at that time. So, but I sleep very well, as I said. But yes, so we had. So dreams are not, you don't have singular dreams. You have multiple dreams, all of us, and not many of them are fulfilled. Some of them are fulfilled, some are not. Some of them you don't even get a chance to try to fulfill. Some of them you get a chance, but you're not able to fulfill. It's in each life, some rain must fall. And so it's not all hunky dory that you have a dream and you go and realize it. We should be prepared that for every success, there would be 3 or 4 failures. That's one. So we also had a plan to transform the travel truly. These day trains alone will not do it. Beyond a point, you won't get clientele because it's an expensive train. So the fare is expensive, which is all right. You charge more. Use that money to upgrade other trains.
Mhm.
Travel for common men who do not travel with dignity today. That's one part. So I'm justifying higher fare. But my caveat is that the money earned here should be used to upgrade the existing trains. And for higher end passengers, we need to improve further and we can charge even more. For that, you, as I said, you cut down travel time. Number two, make travel between metropolitan cities like Delhi to Mumbai, Delhi to Kolkata truly overnight. Truly
Mhm.
overnight would mean you start at 8 at night and reach at 8 in the morning, 12 hours. Right now, today, you start at 5 and reach at 9. So you cut down 4 hours. For that, you need upgraded track and you need this train and you need a sleeper version of the train, which is still not there, unfortunately. 5 years down
Yes.
the line, they're still talking about it. More talk than action, and hopefully next year we'll get a sleeper version. We should have got it earlier. I'll not get into too many of this, but another, you can call it a dream or you can call it a plan. We wanted to build an aluminum. These are stainless steel body train. Aluminum is the material for high speed, medium high speed trains today, even metros, because it's lighter. Because it's lighter, it consumes less energy and therefore more energy efficient. It is aesthetically superior. It's durable, has better resale value. There's so many things.
Mhm.
So aluminum is the material, coach body material for future. We wanted to build a train to that. I'll not get into that. We could not. We failed. But then after we failed, but in the last 5 years, only some weak attempt has been made, and we are still nowhere near realizing the plan of an aluminum body train. So we should have more focus on that so that we are future ready with aluminum body trains. So these were just two things I named. Now, of course, now to answer your question, finally, I consult, which pays, but not so interesting, and I write and speak, which does not pay, but is very interesting.
Excellent, excellent. So let us talk, since this is disruption definitely for the railway industry. Let us talk about our next part sub theme, right, which is inclusivity. And
Yeah,
we've
that's very
heard
important.
that, yeah, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
saying
Go ahead.
something, Dr. Mani?
No, no, go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. So we've heard that, the trains are going to be more inclusive with ramps, and eventually this is going to get extended to other trains as well, to ensure like a seamless experience. Indian Railways is working on a system that will allow passengers to, request a wheelchair as well during ticket booking and all that stuff, right? So, what other inclusivity measures did we take, or did we think about, or plan in this railway industry with the introduction of the Vande Bharat?
Well, so when you say we're going to have inclusive trains, well, there's so much which is being said, but I'm not fully aware as to what is that inclusivity. All I know, number of sleeper coaches for common travelers have been reduced,
Uh-huh.
and the common people still travel without dignity. During Chhat Puja, they ran special trains, and you should have seen the crowd which lined up and pushed each other just to get into a train. These are images which you clearly see, and it is nowhere near any inclusivity. It only shows that India has a dream to become a developed country by the end of Amrit Kal, which I do believe will happen. But it cannot happen with images like this. This has to be improved. So now you just mentioned about ordering a wheelchair. Well, that's a service for people who need a senior citizens or otherwise differently abled people. That's definitely be given, and it's not something that is a rocket science or something that has not been done. I remember in when I was divisional railway manager in Bangalore in 2011, we had 4 golf carts for senior citizens. A number was
Mhm.
available for people to order that golf cart, which would pick them up at the drop point and take them to a senior citizens, especially through CSR built waiting room, and then come again and take them to the train. So these things are definitely necessary, but mere hype and talking about it is not going to help. A transformational change in attitude is needed. Otherwise, when you ask me, About inclusivity, yes. Number one, ours is a climate where everyone should travel in air condition,
Yeah.
except maybe one or two coaches in a train where for people who are asthmatic or don't like to travel in air condition. The question is whether the common poor man can afford that fare. No, they cannot. But will we wait for them to be able to afford and travel in air condition? In my view, no, because a train once made lives with you for 30 years. So we should stop making non-air conditioned coaches, make only air conditioned coaches, and let poor people travel in air conditioned at the fare or slightly more fare than they give now. Give them that empowerment, if I can call it. And when we become developed, he'll have in his pocket enough money to pay for that. But prepare for it now. You are not merely giving him comfort. You make it cramped. Give him at least a seat to sit,
Mm-hmm.
if not to sleep. Don't take him piling over one another standing. You are giving your passengers dignity. You're giving dignity to your countrymen. And by giving dignity to them, you're giving dignity to yourself. It cannot be something which will be based on purely cost benefit analysis. This is something which I would call preparation for India to become a developed country, and railways must foot the bill for that, and it will pay them later in the day. As it is, government development plans are all being met by the central government. The railways are not generating their own surplus, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit more loss there, but take every Indian with dignity, and then comes comfort.
Sure.
First,
So,
dignity.
sure. So, since you touched upon the cost benefit, now the question comes is that, how was the cost, right, as compared to manufacturing cost of Vande Bharat as a project, right? Just as compared to other global standards, and how was this feat achieved?
You see, the cost is not just manufacturing, the cost is of the brain. So you cannot put a money on something because the design work is pretty expensive. So
Mm-hmm.
if we were, first of all, nobody would take an order for two trains. They will need at least for economies of scale 15 to 20 trains, which we are planning for aluminum, for example. Then there'll be a huge investment in design. So you'll have to pay a technology fee and you'll have to pay per train. So it would have cost you upwards of 200 crores per train. Here in India, the ICF, the staff was already there, capable staff, and matching our railway industry has come up better than Indian Railways because they are not shackled by bureaucracy. And some of them, contrary to general belief, can also work for pride, not only for money. So these were people on whose shoulders we were riding to build that train. So the design effort cost us very little. And pride has took us there. And
Wow.
that's why, yeah. So the design RCF, ICF staff were there in any case. That cost was getting charged to ICF in any case. Other trains or somewhere. Industry was ready to design a product to our specification, give it to us without any additional design charges. Matured industry that they saw future in it. And manufacturing cost, as it is, the labor cost in India is lower. But remember, labor cost is not a major component in train building, but still it makes a difference. And because we decided that 80% plus components that we design and order would be sourced in India, so naturally the cost was lower. So that's why we were able to do it for 97.5 crores or something like that per train, which would have been, as I said, more than 200, given that you have to order 15 trains or so. So once you decide to do everything here, including design, manufacturing is not as important. It is important, but not as important as design, product design. Always remember, you
Mm-hmm.
that's the brain. The product
That's a
design
brain,
should be
definitely.
product design should be yours. After that, I don't mind if you outsource it to Bangladesh or Vietnam. It's okay.
Uh-huh.
The product has your stamp already. I mean, it's good if you manufacture it here. I'm just giving an example. So this was the underlying idea, the key that we are usually stuck between being mindlessly global and hopelessly local. So unless the gap is too large, we should be closer to hopelessly global. and try to do everything here. Because that ownership and pride of doing something yourself, I'm talking about design, manufacturing too, but mainly design, can make you do the 110, 120% more than what you're capable of. So that was the underlying principle which we followed. Now, good or bad, we succeeded. We could not have made a world-class train straight away. I never call it world-class. I say it was never near world-class, but it was our first attempt.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. So we would,
That-
if we continue on that path, we would become world-class someday. We haven't yet, but it was the first attempt, and you can. I mean, I never did we imagine that we'll make a world-class train in the first attempt itself. But we were able to own up what we did. It was ours.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, you can never, achieve everything in one shot. It's
No,
always small
yeah,
steps, learn and
agreed,
improve and move
agreed,
forward. Yeah.
agreed,
S-
agreed.
Yeah. So now there is a lot of hype about AI and all that stuff. Did we leverage AI or generative AI, whatever you can say, right? In Vande Bharat trains, can I mean, it could be for preventing accidents, maybe. I don't know. Is there any way that we have leveraged AI in your, design or in your manufacturing processes or any other, process from concept to discovery to deployment?
Since you use the word hype, which I hate, and which is the order of the day nowadays, I will digress and then I'll come to your question. You see, hype is our problem. We try to hype up much more than what we have done, and that's why we don't
Ex-
improve. If you have reached 100 and you say, I have reached 200, you will never reach 200. But if you
Excellent.
reach
Yeah.
100 and you say, I've reached 95, you will be on the path to 200. Hype is bad. So I'm reminded of my uncle, my very well-known uncle. You also know him. He's called Shakespeare. Uh, so, so a couple of his quotes. Uh, see, three actually. Actually, strong reasons make strong action from King John. You know that, but action is eloquence, and the eyes of the ignorant more learned than the ears. People like to see what you have done, not
Right.
hear what you speak. That's very important. So, best way to prove a point is a demo with results. And then number two, what's past is prologue. What to come in yours and my discharge. Learn from what has happened or not happened, and use that for the days to come and do your discharge properly. What a beautiful thing the uncle has told us, but we don't follow it. Uh, so, so hype can never help. If we, as I said, we made a near world class train. If I start calling it world class, then I'm a fool. I'm a foolish wit, not a witty fool. Once again, borrowing from Shakespeare. So now again, coming to your question, this time I remember it. It was about AI. Very good
Yeah.
question. So at that stage, well, there was a talk of AI, and we wanted to equip as many microprocessors in the system so that data is available, lands on a server, and AI can be employed to exploit it. But it was more, practical usage had not yet started. We said we have that mine of data which can be used. AI can use it to give us that intelligence which a human being really cannot do. But since you mentioned accident, I absolutely agree with you. Right now, there is huge data of trains coming from locomotives and trains landing in some server somewhere, and it is used only for postmortem. Huge
Mhm.
data, hundreds of parameters from these moving trains land there. Then we have huge data of actual train running from ground equipment at stations. It tells you all about when which train came when and so on. If all this is put in one data, collated, and we asked AI to generate alerts for us, meaningful alerts, not nuisance alerts, it can, and at some point, generate such surplus that people will definitely become much more alert. Right now, nuisance alerts don't work. So
Mhm.
AI can be used so effectively for railway safety. That's one usage. Other than if it can be used for railway safety, you can imagine you have these data, you can use it for maintenance, you can use it for reliability, you can use it for condition monitoring. So time has come to use AI in a big manner, but we are nowhere there still. Even as a country, we are nowhere near using AI effectively, let me say, compared to, say, China. So Indian Railways, of course, lags far behind the country, so we are nowhere there. But very rich data is available for AI to be applied effectively. So I liked your question, and it should be done. So I'm no expert, but you call AI experts, tell them this is what we have and this is what we want. Is it possible? They'll tell you, yes, it's possible, and I'll work for you.
Excellent. And because that covers our the other part of our sub theme, right, which is G, talking about how to generate opportunities with technology. Now I'm coming back to the last part, last sub theme, which is sustainability.
Mhm.
So how does Vande Bharat, right? How did it achieve that? Um, this regenerative breaking breathes life into the concept of green travel. Consuming, they say that it conserves up to like 30% of electrical energy. And this is all what I read in internet and books and all. Uh, how was this achieved? That 30% conservation.
Yeah. Okay. So I also saw that 30% in one of the ministry handouts. That is bunkum. It cannot save 30%. But at the same, so this is the problem with hype. And then people who don't know railways like you, I don't blame you. People just say 30%. Wow, 30% is not possible. Yes, it can save you 8 to 12% because of the nature of the animal. And the nature of the animal is it has no locomotive, so less vehicles, all equipment parked under the vehicles. Good aerodynamic profiling possible because everything is of the same profile. So at higher speeds, you consume less energy, and many other measures which make it more energy efficient. Regenerative braking being one, which is there in other locos also. It's not something special to Vande Bharat. Nevertheless, it is, let's say, 10% more energy efficient, which is saying a lot. It's not a small number, right? Even 10% is pretty good. If I mean, it's certainly not 30%, but and remember, I'm sure you know it, but let me repeat it: that rail vehicle, a train, is 6 to 8 times cleaner than road and air by the nature of the animal. So that itself is reason enough for more and more rail travel to be promoted for freight as well as passenger. Economics can also decide it, but this convenience economics important. But you see, environment point of view, it has immense advantages. So it is automatically sustainable because compared to these, it saves so much money. On top of that, if you can save 10%, then it is definitely a very energy efficient, sustainable solution. Um, can it be more sustainable or more energy efficient? Yes, aluminum is one direction. There are many other technologies. I'll not get into it. Even for propulsion, many things coming up. It's a continuous process, and I'm not even talking about futuristic trains like Hyperloop or maglev, which also should India should try to take lead in one of them. But even conventional trains, we can make it more and more energy efficient. But for that, you have to continuously work on it and not make a hype that we have reached saved 30%. No, you have not. You have saved 10%, 8%. Try to make it 15%. No, don't talk of 30%.
Excellent.
I
And
hope I'm not. I hope I'm not too harsh on you.
no. This is what I read, and I'm just citing what I read. So
Yeah,
30%
good.
definitely
Yeah,
not, but 10 to 12% is also a good saving. Plus
yeah,
the positive impact that it is having on the environment. If we would have used some other mode of transportation, it would have been worse. Yes, I get your point.
yeah,
And yeah, coming back just to round everything up, since
yeah.
the theme of our conference is enabling the project managers, right? To experience the future now. We will try to go a little more futuristic and ask you, what is your dream in the upcoming 100 years, right? In 100 years from now, how would Vande Bharat trains look like?
Well, I'll, at the cost of repetition, my See, what I like to look at Vande Bharat precisely is a name, let's say it's given to a generic name for a train. But what would I like to see? I'm not wise enough to go 100 years, but I can tell you what I would like to see in 20 years from now. Number one, India, a developed country, not hype, genuinely developed country. And what do I like to see among in railways? Number one, high speed trains, conventional high speed trains running between metros, preferably daytime, not sleeper. So Delhi, Jaipur, Delhi, Amritsar, Delhi, Lucknow, Chennai, Bangalore, Mumbai, Mumbai, Nagpur, perhaps. Mumbai, Ahmedabad is already there. Things like that. Kolkata, Asansol. Pick up one or two more. We are already building in Mumbai, Ahmedabad. It's delayed. Pick up one or two more. Don't talk of surveys all over the country. It's all surveys. It won't happen. Pick up two more, build, run, and build quickly, and then decide after 5, 6, 7 years of building and running whether it's good for the country or not. Don't debate about that now. Every country in the world worth its salt except US and Australia, who have their lobbies, have a high-speed train, and we still don't have. So number one, high-speed trains. Number two, existing tracks, upgrade them to 200 to 220 kilometers per hour. It's possible. Bring trains to match that, cousins of Vande Bharat. Put more focus on track upgradation. Trains will be built in India. It won't be a problem. Their designers are capable. So these trains, so these high-speed trains are such which would kill air traffic totally and good for environment. And these Vande Bharat 200 kilometers trains would compete with airlines. Number three, more freight trains because you have high speed lines now, 2, 3, and trains at a higher speed, so that your share of traffic, which is languishing at 28%, goes to 40%, so that railways become more sustainable. And number two more, last, every common man traveling in dignity and comfort. It's certainly something without which we are not going anywhere. I'll place it at number one. And last, take a lead in some technology. So Vande Bharat is nothing but just adaptation of a technology existing in the world for 25, 30, 40 years. Lead. So what are the areas? Maglev, China has taken lead. Perhaps Hyperloop. People say Hyperloop is not coming. Maybe not. But a large country like in India should invest in such a technology once and try to become a leader there. It's possible. Engage a company if you want, but with our own engineers and with our money, we have money as well. We can leverage that. Let these things happen, and in 20 years, 25 years, and my dream would be quite fulfilled. What happens in 100 years is not possible for my premium to think of.
Yeah, 25 years is also good enough. And I liked what you said. It is all about the ecosystem. No one can survive alone. And although we asked you the question about Vande Bharat, you talked about the entire ecosystem upgrade, the track upgrade, and how it's going to help in environment, positive impact on the environment, because we are increasing our train travel share from 28 to 40%, and how we can bring it to the common man, and of course take lead in
So,
some
Priya,
technology.
Priya, I'm a railway man for life, not a Vande Bharat man for life.
I know. I can understand that from all the answers that you gave us. And this was such an interesting discussion. And we truly thank you, Dr. Mani, for joining us today and giving us a sneak peek into your dream that kept you awake, at least for some time, right? The Vande Bharat or the Train 18. I am definitely excited for this session, and I'm sure this is going to be an eye opener for all the project managers across domains, because there are so many good things to take away. It is not about the train or the railway industry, but how to take a lead, how to take a leap of faith, right? And I wouldn't miss it for the world, would you? And I will ask the admin to put the link to register in the comment section, so each one of you can check out the agenda, register for our conference, and, I'm sure I will see you soon there. So thank you, Dr.
Okay.
Mani, for
One,
joining
one.
us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me. And now.